Well, good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly on this very, very chilly morning, but it's supposed to be chilly in January in Alabama, but we're excited to be with you. And joining me this morning is all of you know Kathy Shamliss, who is our Chief Financial Officer and City Clerk. And what we want to talk about this morning, when I came to office about 6 years ago, when we started the Mayor's Weekly, the driver behind the Mayor's Weekly, and Kathy, you'll remember this, was a big piece of it, was to dispel rumors and misnomers and misunderstandings, and I think we've been effective in doing that because at the time the city was fraught with rumors of wrongdoing on the part of the city, and we said we'll put some sunshine on those things, and that's my belief that sunshine has extinguished most of that, has it not?
I think so.
Good. But we want to talk about Rural King, and we very rarely do we get questions. We solicit your questions, and I always want you to know that if you have a question, you send it our way, we'll answer it. But we follow the city's Facebook page and read the comments there, and some things about Rural King I think are worthy of being addressed. And one writer said, "Why can't we ever get anything good?" Now, Kathy, you monitor on a regular basis sales tax receipts across this city.
Yes, sir.
And this is a pretty good sized city, isn't it? 30 square miles, over 200 employees, $34 million budget. And the sales tax projections for Rural King would place them as the third largest sales tax generator
Yes, sir.
in the city of Jackson. So, that tells me we got something good. They don't sell ice cream or Coca-Colas if that's what you're looking for. Now, we had another writer that put the Industrial Development Board's website on and said, you know, we need this, that, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Rural King falls into the category of commercial development. Is that right, Kathy?
It is correct.
The Industrial Development Board deals with, just as the name implies, industrial development. They're not charged with this. They've not had a hand in it. This is not a critique of that group of folks. It's not their charge. Never will they have a hand in that sort of thing. These originate in different ways, and I'll touch on that in a minute. So if you're looking for the Industrial Development Board to bring you something in commercial development, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It's not their charge. It's not their job. Then, why can't we have a small movie theater? Well, folks, if you'll do a little internet research, movie theaters have kind of gone the way of dinosaurs. In all likelihood, they're not coming back. And no investor is going to put their money out here to build one of those if they can't get their money back with an acceptable return. And that's, so not going to happen, And now, then when I was talking about we need a Target and we need a Publix and we need these sort of things. Well, these companies have certain thresholds that have to be met for them to consider a location. Median income is one of them. Population is another. I can tell you with Publix, we don't cross either one of those thresholds, and in all likelihood, we're not going to have a Publix in the foreseeable future. That's not the fault of the Chamber of Commerce, this administration, or whatever. Those folks are just not going to put down roots if you can't meet those thresholds. Target. What I can tell you is I don't know when we'll get one of those, but I can tell you this: we'll get it when Target feels like they need a store in Jasper.
That's right.
That's kind of the way it works, you know. And Kathy, getting these entities or whatever, it's not like you going to the grocery store and reaching and picking things off the shelf. It don't work that way. Now, let's go back to Rural King. How did that happen? There are municipalities across the continental 48 that would love to have a Rural King. Our third largest, and I reiterate that, generator of sales tax revenue. How did we get Rural King? Was not easy. The lead was generated through our Chamber of Commerce and a consulting group, Retail Strategies, that they have a contractual agreement with to work for them. Once that lead was generated, then it falls squarely into the lap of the city of Jasper to negotiate an incentive package. And absent an acceptable incentive package for those kind of entities, they're not going to happen. Is that right,
That's
Kathy?
right.
Kathy, you've been a part of the negotiations from a year back when we started. What we did when we went to the table with Rural King, Kathy was there. Our then president of the council was there. I was there. Their consultants were there, and we started talking. And what they called on the city of Jasper to do to land Rural King, and I'm not being faulting Rural King, was something that we were not willing to do. As a matter of fact, in a very diplomatic way, we agreed to end our discussions shortly after they begun, because in no way were we going to be in a position or willing to meet what they were asking. Kathy, I believe it was 2 or 3 days later, we get a call back and said, let's go back to the table. Is that right?
That is
That's
correct.
3 or 4 days. We go back to the table. As I've said, you maybe read it in the paper, everybody from that point forward remained committed. And we started working on trying to come together with an incentive package that Rural King would accept, and on the other hand, that our city council will accept. Now, let's talk about the authority of our council. The mayor cannot appropriate a penny. That's not unique to Jasper. If you were in Mobile, if you were in Montgomery, if you were in Huntsville, a mayor cannot appropriate money. We had to have an incentive package that the council would go along with. And our council did a great job of keeping an open mind as we worked along. And finally, at the end of the day, we came to an agreement, and that's how we landed Rural King. Now, Kathy, you know this, and you've seen the development we have. You go out on I-22, Cracker Barrel, those developments, those came before my time. And there's a tremendous amount of work that has to go in. And if you, and I'm going to talk about this in another meeting I'm headed to in a little bit, I'm borrowing from football, if you get in the red zone and you can't score a touchdown, you haven't done any good. But fortunately, when we've been able to get in the red zone, we've been able to push it in the end zone, haven't we?
Been very successful.
And we're going to stay on that path. But all the while, doing what we feel like is in the best interest of the taxpayers of this city. So, you know, looking back, why can't we get something good? We've got something fantastic. Are we going to get a Publix? Are we going to get a Target? Publix is probably out in the near term. A Target will come here, not through our solicitation. They'll come here when they believe they need to be in Jasper. I can't tell you that, and neither can anybody else. But Kathy, and these folks, they come to table and they've done their homework, haven't they?
But most certainly, they know our market. They know everything about Jasper.
Yeah. And so when their consultants come to the table, they probably know more about Jasper than we know about Jasper, and they're prepared to negotiate, and I can tell you, they're prepared to walk away. The investment that this company will make in Jasper is huge. Now, let me touch on that, and then I want us to wrap up here a little bit and say a few things about the new city hall. The entranceway leading into the mall, that stretch of roadway is in less than desirable condition. We're working to get bids on paving, whatever. That's a part of it. The council member for that district made a great observation and recommendation, and that is the construction that will go on. Now, the side of Rural King, that building will not be taken down, but the interior part of it will be demolished, taking it down to the bare bones and then built back. There's going to be a tremendous amount of construction traffic on that road, heavy trucks and that sort of thing. And council member made a recommendation that we do patching and that sort of thing till we can get that new entity in place and then come in and pave it. I think that makes a lot of sense. So please know that we haven't forgot about that stretch of roadway, but we think it's in the best interest of the taxpayers to get mileage out of their paving money to wait till this construction is complete. Now, Kathy, the new city hall, give us a little update. I know you've talked with the architect and the contractor, and I think they're right around the corner of getting started, and what the contract says, how long, and that sort of thing. And let me say this: if you haven't been to the city's website and seen the architectural rendering of this new city hall, then you've missed a treat. It's going to be a facility to behold. But Kathy, a little rundown on that.
Well, where we're at now, we had to, in order, before we could do anything, we had to get a ADEM permit to do the demolition. And we now have that in place, and February the 3rd, I believe, is the first date that we could actually get in there and start the demo.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe next Friday.
Yeah.
So people will begin to see those contractors coming in and out of that facility very, very soon. The total contract is 365 days. So this time next year, we'll probably be moving in.
Yeah.
If everything, goes as we have planned. So just a very exciting time. The contractor is still getting his plans in place to start that project, but the demolition you will see that start very, very soon.
Yeah. Now, Second Avenue. We got a call from a business owner that said that that's impeding the flow of traffic into downtown Jasper. I don't dispute that, but it's an absolute necessity that that stretch of roadway be closed. It was taken to the council. They agreed and was properly approved, was it not, Kathy?
Yes, sir.
And I think